Shalom. As always, all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to you, elect brothers, women, children, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, Lord willing, this one will be edifying and straight to the point. This one will be on fighting demons and just keeping faith in Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Knowing that he is in control at all times, and the spiritual demon Satan is a servant to Yahweh Shem Shai, and he has a task, and his task is to plague, us hopeful men of the Lord, hopeful elect, to plague our minds, influence our minds, through these evil angels, put doubtful thoughts in our minds, try to put a spirit of unbelief or giving up, or all kind of stuff, man. And a good way to identify a demon, these evil angels, is to think really within, do I agree? You got to pray to Yahweh Shem Shai as well, that you have a true spirit of understanding, and that spirit of truth. If that spirit of truth is dwelling in you, you will be able to determine whether or not it's a demon or not. For example, if you're on a building, I know I've experienced this many times in my life since I was young till now. When you're in like a high-rise building on a balcony or something like that, or you're on a high surface, sometimes you have a thought that says jump. You have that feeling of, oh, jump. That's a demon. You don't want to jump. You know that's foolish. You know that's going to lead to your death. However, you do have that feeling because that's what a demon is instructed to do, to influence you to make the wrong decision, especially when it's so easy for you to hurt yourself, right? So that's why when you're in moments where you can actually die or hurt yourself, or all you have to do is like just walk over the edge or something like that, you have that feeling of, oh, if I jump, just jumping. And that's a demon, a very judgy spirit or thought. And the point is, you know what's right and what's wrong. So a lot of the times, like when we have these doubtful thoughts, like if am I worthy enough, or am I a man of the Lord, or is this the truth? You were already convinced in your spirit so far to reach where you are. So this doubtful spirit and change of heart is a demon. It's very simple. And how you can keep on that path of identifying these spirits early is really reading and meditating on the scriptures and watching videos, reading, thinking on Yahweh Hashem Shai. Those things give you the strength to identify these demons, man. Because most cases, these evil thoughts that we have that really don't make us happy, in your spirit, it's a demon, man. It makes you feel some type of way, or it's leading you to feel angry or sad. It's a demon influencing you, man, to feel that way. And you gotta rebuke it. You gotta be like, rebuke that spirit in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai Hashem Dash. Because you want that Holy Spirit on you. You want to have righteous thoughts. You want to have faithful thoughts and patience in Yahweh Shem Shai. So the first precept I have here is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach chapter 2 verse 1, and it says, "My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation." And that temptation is going to come through these spiritual demons, man. And that's where, that's the first, not the first, but that's comforting to know, man. A scripture like this, you got to prepare yourself, man. Prepare your soul and know that these temptations are going to come. They can come by woman, they can come by, money and different things that can destroy you. Because when you're dealing with women, man, you're gonna have a lot of thoughts, man. And demons are gonna have a field day. Especially if you're not dealing with a decent woman. And they're decent women today are hard to find. So most of these women that we deal with, they're terrible. So you gotta really have a strong mind to even deal with that, because you're gonna be even plagued with demons in the decisions that you make. You're gonna have a lot of your emotions are gonna be all over the place. So you gotta be a certain type of man to handle this. You gotta have a certain type of experience to know when a demon is drawing you out, to do certain things. To be looking through followers and dumb shit like that. No man of the Lord should be doing shit like that. Because that's all demons, man. Because that's where the mind is going haywire. You shouldn't even be in a situation where you got to do that. You got to grow to the point of knowing that, let me leave certain things like that alone, or let me stop worrying about money so much. When you have so much worry about money, demons start to plague you as well, because then you're having less faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai and less patience in Yahweh Shemel Shai. Not being more subject to what's happening and praying, because sometimes that's all you need to do. But the more and more you worry and think about it, the demons come in. The demons start telling you this, telling you that, leading you this way, and you start to agree. It's very important not to agree with these evil spirits, because when you agree, then you're lost. You won't be able to identify it differently. You're going to think it's you, or something is wrong with you, and these demons know our personalities. We all were in the world before, so there's certain things about us that need to be purged. So these demons latch themselves onto all these bad qualities that we may still have, and the Lord did this purposefully, man. So the next precept that I want to read is Job, because Job went through so much more hell than what we're going through right now. So it's very important to not to have a spirit where, oh, I'm going through so much hell, man. Like you're the only one going through hell. Like your situation is unique. Like you're the only one going through what you're going through. You have brothers that are going through way more shit, man, and you would never know, because they've applied the things that I'm trying to apply right now. Continuously keeping faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai, continuously meditating in the scriptures, continuously praying. So whatever they're going through, they take cheerfully. You just keep on going. It's coming from the Lord. It's to refine you, to make you better. It's not to destroy you, because the Lord already brought us so far and gave us this truth. Why would I doubt now? Why would I turn my back and believe a evil spirit? It becomes easier and easier as you get older in this thing. It doesn't mean that we don't have days where we're down. We're in the flesh. We're going to have days like that when we just don't feel good. That's when you meditate more into Yahweh Shemel Shai. You might call a brother, and just a brother, through the spirit you talk, and you're good and you're maintained. Where you're not succumb to your flesh, right? So, this is just an account of Job. It's always important to read these things, man. So let me start here. So this is Job chapter 1 verse 7. And it says, and Yahweh said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, from going to and fro in the earth, from walking up and down in it, right? Doing his work, doing the job that Yahweh Shemel Shai gave to him, right? Doing the work that Yahweh gave to him, which is creating and causing evil on earth, on the left hand side, right? And verse 8 said, and Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth with evil, right? So let me get that word eschew just for education, right? And it's very important to go into words, to turn aside, depart. So pretty much saying to turn away from evil. So the thing I wanted to point out with Job understood that there's good and there's evil, and both come from Yahweh Shemel Shai. It's called balance, and we should know that when we're going through shit, man, it's for a season. Most cases, we're not the ones that control how long we go through hell. But what we can do is pray and hope Yahweh Shemi Shai, by the end of whatever season it may be, that we're improved, we're refined more to the liking of Yahweh Shemi Shai, that we're a stronger, more faithful and understanding man, that we can continue to fight and endure the trials that the Lord is going to continuously send to us, because that's what this thing is about. As it says, prepare yourself for temptation, prepare yourself for the demons, man. Prepare yourself for trials, man, and tribulations and hardships. So verse 9 says, and Satan answered Yahweh and said, does Job fear Yahweh for naught? And verse 10, hast thou not made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Right, because Job was a wealthy man. Verse 11 says, but put forth thy hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So the spiritual demon Satan is saying to Yahweh that, look, if we take away all that he has right now and curse the thing that he has, put spirits on evil spirits around his life, to destroy things in his life, he will curse thee. That's what the spiritual demon Satan is saying, because that's what he's created to do. And verse 12 says, and Yahweh said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Right? So everything that's happening on earth for Job at that moment, the Lord gave the spiritual demon Satan, to go ahead to destroy that, right? To control it. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So don't physically harm Job. So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh, and there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabians fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell you. And that was the start of the hell, man. Job was catching some serious hell. But this is, verse 16 says, while he was yet speaking, there came also another, right, in the same moment, so next, more hell, more problems coming to Job. The fire of Yahweh is falling from heaven and hath burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Right? Losing his wealth. Verse 17, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Yeah, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. So he's losing his wealth and his riches. Everything is getting weaker and weaker in his life. He's losing these riches that Yahweh Shemi Shai is giving him. And he can see that, right? And it goes on to say, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they died. And they dead, the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped to tell thee. Right, so he lost children, man. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head. His children died, man, and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. In these moments where Job is catching serious hell, more hell than majority of us on earth right now, because I can't account for all brothers. I don't know every brother's situation. However, what Job was going through was super duper hell, man. Extreme hell. Right? And what did he do? He shaved his head and he fell down on the ground and he worshipped Yahweh Shemi Shai and said, naked came I out my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Yahweh gave, and Yahweh taketh away. Taken away. Blessed be the name of Yahweh Shemi Shai. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So in all that which happened, Job still kept his faith, still believed in Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, understood that if you're gonna get good from Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, you're also gonna get bad. It's balance. So we all are gonna go through shit, man. and that's no excuse to turn your back on Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. None at all, man. Because if you have really tasted of this truth, you should not spit it out. You should not turn your back on Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. The scriptures tell us what we should do when we're in low estates, when we're in hard situations, man. Cast your cares all upon the Lord. He cared for you, man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Pray without ceasing. Take it cheerfully. Know that it's love. If we don't experience these things, these chastisements, if we don't experience if we're not chastised, we're bastards. The Lord is gonna put the ones that He loves to hell, man. What did I have? I wanted to get Jeremiah 17 because I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of brothers. I know I battle with demons, but through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, I know when demons are plaguing me. There's times when it's very, very unbearable, but I still know that it's demons and I just fight it. I don't blame the Lord or give up or think that, oh, what is this? What is that? Nah, I know that the Lord is doing this to strengthen me. We're in the flesh, so sometimes it can be hard. It can feel overbearing. However, it's very important to know that it's demons and it's not you. You're not this terrible person or unworthy person. It's a part of your refinement. It's a part of your journey. It's a part of your growth, right? Everything that the Lord gives us, it's to make us better. So this is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things. And when you're going to the word heart here, the word heart here is lab, right?
Strong's H 3820. Lave.
Lab in Hebrew.
Lave.
Right? So it's going into the mind, your mind, your conscience, so your thoughts. It's not talking about your actual heart. So when you see heart in the scriptures, referring to your mind, where your thoughts come, right? So your thoughts, what you think about yourself, what you think about situations, it's very deceitful because demons manipulate it. Most cases, with doubt, with thinking situations are happening when it's not. We humans love to think that, oh, we have this great intuition in most cases. Oh, yeah, I just have a feeling. Yes, sometimes, because, we have spirits where we kind of understand certain things, and some cases we're right, but it's very important not to trust into those feelings, because demons can take you for a roller coaster ride. Make you think that, oh my, you have a woman and these women are wicked and you're thinking all kind of shit. Sometimes it's not even the woman. Sometimes it's just you're battling demons. You're thinking shit and none of that is happening. You're creating stuff in your mind that doesn't exist. You're creating situations with a brother. You think a brother has a problem with you when he doesn't, because you're not doing the brotherly thing to confront something, to ask, to confirm, when it's really you're the problem. You're not looking within yourself when the brother doesn't even have a clue what you're talking about, or the brother didn't mean anything by what you may think, and you may be thinking, oh yeah, he did this, he did that, and blah blah blah. Just an example. That's how easy it is for demons to manipulate you. You got to be aware that your mind is a very, 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 very delicate place. You got to always meditate on the scriptures and know what's right and what's wrong, and make sure that your beliefs and your understandings are rock solid. So when demons do come in that space or put thoughts in that space, you can easily identify it. You can easily identify the evil in the thought. So for me, I can, most cases, identify the demons because I truly, truly, truly believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm not saying other brothers don't, and I also pray for these type of things. Pray for these type of understandings. I rebuke these demons. So it's became a habit. As soon as certain foreign thoughts enter into my mind, I rebuke it. Right? I'm not saying that I don't have my moments where certain things, certain thoughts that demons put in my head, kind of, draw me out. Of course, we all have moments. However, Thawadi Halwa Shemi Shai, I always come to the acknowledgement when it's a demon. Even if I don't see it, eventually I will, or a brother will tell me. We're all in this thing together, man. So it's very important to talk to brothers as well, because brothers can identify demons for you, or you could pray for these things. You could pray to have that spirit of discernment to know yourself and what you believe in, because you can have a demon that's telling you to look at the next man woman. How do you know that's wrong? Because you believe in the scriptures. The scriptures tell you that's wrong. So if that thought is in your mind, you rebuke it. It's not your thought. But you may have a brother, he's feeling weak and he's believing. It's like, oh, I don't know why I'm thinking these things. You're not the one that is thinking these things. You're not the one that's telling yourself that, oh, I'm weak, I'm this. It's a demon. Even if you are weaker and you're growing in the spirit, the demon is the one that's going to tell you that to bring you down. If you're weak in a certain area, you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to work on it and get better. So if you're having those thoughts, it's just a demon. The demon knows that you may have a certain type of insecurity coming into this truth, or he knows your weak spots. So whatever weak area you have that you're not really paying attention to, or you stay away from, the demons are gonna attack it. And that's what it is. So again, it says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it, right? So who knows the heart? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai knows your heart. So trust in him so he can lead you in the right direction, so he can increase your understanding and your faith, so he can fight these spirits, right? This is a very important precept to know, man. And when it comes to women are through, because they believe in their intuition so much. They think they know so much. They believe so much into their feelings. Your feelings as well, comes from the mind. You gotta know. You gotta use more. You gotta have more rational thinking, man. You can't think with the feelings so much. You gotta think, all right, does my feelings line up with the facts? Because you're gonna have feelings towards things. You're gonna have feelings towards women, but you gotta make sure that certain things line up. You can't just go off, oh, I feel like this, so then you start doing dumb shit for women and shit like that. You gotta have a more balanced and understanding mind. Then you could do whatever you're doing, man, with a woman. But you gotta come to the point where certain things don't affect you. You gotta almost be numb. You gotta be more logical. They say men are very logical, but men are very emotional when it comes to things like this. So you gotta have an understanding to know that, okay, the most important thing is this truth. Then whatever comes after that. And truth consists of brothers, the word, reading, doing videos, praying to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the brotherhood. All of those things come first. So building your foundation on those things make you a very strong individual, because you're meditating on the Lord's business. So with that, he's gonna reward you with stronger qualities, better understanding about yourself and spirits and your beliefs. You're gonna, when you really truly believe, like, you're not just saying it, these things come easy. While we're in the flesh, we need to have these type of qualities, because we all have different personalities, and the Lord knows it best. The Lord attacks these personalities in ways to improve us. But again, the heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Who can know it? Who's the one that can know it? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So don't, it's important for us not to have that woe is me spirit, or I'm catching this hell, this and that. It can happen to any man, bro. It can happen to any one of us, because we're in the flesh. The strongest brother on earth right now still has his moments. But with experience, you grow, and you understand, and your faith gets stronger and stronger. And also, just to mention, you had a brother recently that left the truth because he's a single father. For me, all of that is bullshit, because if you truly believe in Yahweh Shemel Shai, there's no excuse out there that's gonna make you stop worshiping and praying to the Lord. If you're in a low estate, and you're in a state where you just feel like giving up, keep praying. Do what Job did. What did he do? And I can guarantee most brothers aren't doing what Job did. I mean, not most, Salakia, but I can guarantee you he didn't do this. You know what I'm trying to say. Because it says, just to read it again, it says, then Job arose, verse 20, and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped. Right? So when he was feeling at his lowest, what did he do? He fell down and submitted to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Lord, made, because he has that spirit. He has that spirit, that special spirit that the Lord created, to put in him, to put in that flesh, to put in that character Job, to show what you're supposed to be like, to show what you're supposed to do. Because all spirits, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. The spirits of the elect are subject to the elect. So Job is a perfect example, man. Whatever it is that the Lord put you through, if you're of the elect, you're gonna worship, and you're gonna pray, and you're gonna show reverence to Yahweh Shemel Shai, because he's the only one that can deliver you. So it's very important for us to put off that weak spirit, feeling weak in certain areas and doubtful because you may be around men that are more seasoned and grow, and experienced in the spirit. And it's not like brothers just, older brothers, elder brothers just came into this truth, perfect and strong. It took years, man. It's that's what experience is. So you don't need to feel bad and look at these things and be like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, or you doubt yourself. We all have a different walk, man. It's all for motivation. So if younger brothers to older brothers, because you can have older brothers that are weak as well, like feeling weak in the spirit. That's what I mean by that, and that's what I always meant in these videos, not to look at any brother and say, oh, he's the weakest guy in the thing. Nah, that's an off spirit to have as well, to be trying to like compare who is stronger and weaker, because the brother that you may think is the weakest could just simply be a stumbling block for you as well, because the Lord is going to know how you're thinking about that brother. If you're thinking about that brother in a way like, oh, this is the best player on the team, or he's not the hardest working, or all of that stupid worldly thinking, he's gonna compare it to see if are you gonna encourage this brother, are you gonna try to help this brother, or are you gonna be judging it based on the flesh, or based on what you may think, oh, he doesn't read like this, he doesn't break down things like this, he's not deep in the scriptures. You don't know who is who, so that brother could be over everybody. So it's not for us to be thinking about those things, because we don't control those things. Yahweh Shemel Shai does. So a lot of men, brothers, are stumbling blocks. So the angels can record how men are thinking. And those things are, you get judged for things like that. That's why the Lord made things like that. The Lord is very mysterious, right? So that's pretty much all I had to say. It's very important just to pray and worship, fall down and worship and pray to Yahweh Shemel Shai when you're in low states, when you're feeling weak, and he will increase you. So as always, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakakodah, Shalom.